The Boston Bruins are set to host the New Jersey Devils tonight, and we are taking a look at the Eastern Conference power rankings here on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. Let's get into it.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be, as well as take a look around the NHL. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, and our Bruins are back in action tonight. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but before we do, I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. The podcast is free and available on all platforms as well as on YouTube, so please do subscribe. Be great to have you join the video portion of the podcast as well. We are up to 132 subscribers and love to see that grow even more in 2022. If you are on social media, you can follow the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins on Twitter and on Instagram, and you can find me, my dad jokes and hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. Now, the Bruins are in action tonight against the New Jersey Devils. It's going to be Military Appreciation Night at the Garden, and the Bruins looking to build off that impressive 4-point performance over the weekend against the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings. Now, I'm going to talk about that game tonight in a moment, but I thought on Tuesdays, we usually look at the Atlantic Division power rankings. For the majority of the season, it's been pretty boring because there's a clear break in the division. Top three teams, there's been the middle two teams, and then the bottom three, and that's not really going to change anytime soon. You have the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs locked in at 1, 2, and 3. You have the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Montreal Canadiens down at the bottom. And then the Bruins and Red Wings in the middle. The Bruins should be able to pull away here from Detroit coming up, but it's not likely to change. I don't foresee the Bruins being able to jump into the top three, barring a miracle here. Yes, Henry?
Can I do like the cutlery?
Cutlery?
Yeah. In the
Like
kitchen.
put it away?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I just did Grandma's.
Oh, nice.
I know it's in the washing machine.
That's right. All right, that's Henry making an appearance on the podcast. He's going to put away the cutlery from the dishwasher. Perfect. So, yeah, with that being said, the Bruins are in a race for a wild card spot, and I thought it would be good to expand our power rankings look not just to the Atlantic Division, but to the Eastern Conference as a whole. Again, Montreal, Ottawa, Buffalo, really bringing up the rear, all teams with below 400 point percentages. The New York Islanders are currently in 13th. Very disappointing season for them, although they have won 2 in a row. They've always seemed to belie the predictions and, have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row. But they are, 8 points behind the Bruins right now for the race for the second wildcard spot. Same amount of games played. So they do have games in hand on teams above them, but not the Bruins. And it'll be very hard for them to make up those 8 points. But, the Islanders have surprised in the past. Now, coming in at 11th, Jack Hughes, who was drafted first overall back in 2019, has been unbelievable as of late. Since returning from injury, I believe or in the new year anyways, he has been, really on fire. Coming back, recording 8 points over his last 3 games in action since December 29th. A goal, 2 assists against the Sabres that night, 2 goals, 1 assist against the Oilers on New Year's Eve, and then a 2-assist performance against the Capitals. The Devils have won all of those games. It's not a coincidence. He assisted Nico Hischier's game-winning goal against Washington on the 2nd. And with those 2 guys playing at a high level, the Devils have a chance to win. They are without Dougie Hamilton, I believe. He succumbed to an injury in that Washington game. Not sure if he'll be back in the lineup tonight. But they do have a pretty good team in the making, perhaps. Jesper Bratt, surprising, with 29 points through 32 games. Andreas Johnsson with 21 points through 33 games. Hischier and Hughes, not even in the top 3 in scoring on their team at the moment, and they only have room to grow. Goaltending's been an issue for this team, which is a bit of a surprise. Mackenzie Blackwood, Jonathan Bernier, not able to play at a very high level so far this season. Mackenzie Blackwood, I believe, will be in the net tonight. But, in and out of the lineup, both guys have been. And Blackwood, of course, had the whole issue with not being vaccinated to begin the season and just got off to a weird start. So all that to say, the Devils, I don't know if they'll be able to contend for a playoff spot this year, but I think they are better than their 13-15-5 record. Hughes was out of the lineup for quite some time, and with him back playing at a high level, an elite level even, this team could be difficult to beat and not one to be taken lightly. They do have a minus 20 goal differential. They're 3 points back of Boston with 5 more games played. So again, it'll be tough for them to get back into the playoff race, but on a night-by-night basis, they should be quite competitive. We'll get to the rest of the Atlantic Division teams here in a moment. But before we do, a quick word about Primal Origin Oils. If you got a beard, you have to get Primal. You heard me right. Got a beard? Get Primal. If you're someone you care about has a beard, it needs to get Primal. Maybe you're the guy who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product. Well, Primal Origin Oils will stop the itch and make your beard look healthy and groomed. The products are free from harmful synthetic ingredients with low impact on the planet. Primal Origin Oils make balms, oils, and whipped butter that are renowned as the best feel and beard products available. All the products are fair trade certified and handcrafted in the USA. The combo kits make a great holiday gift, and if you're shopping for yourself, you'll be glad you did. We know that every company claims to have the best, but Primal Origin Oils challenges you to compare their ingredients and the feel and beard to other products you've used. You'll see a difference, we promise. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON to get 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. That's promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% off at primalorigins.com. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins your first listen every day. Free and available on all podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. So please do subscribe. New year, a great time to jump on, and also a great time to tell the Bruins-loving person in your life about the podcast if they're not already listening. 1 second here. Bessie was just playing with a marble there in the background, you may have heard, so grabbed that from her. Sorry, Bess. Maybe Henry can soothe your sad feelings there. Now let's move to the teams that are above 500 in the Atlantic Division, or at 500 at least. Philadelphia Flyers, Detroit Red Wings, each have a 500 point percentage, 32 points in 32 games for the Flyers, 33 points through 33 games for the Red Wings. Both have pretty abysmal point percentages, goal differentials, however. Philadelphia minus 21, Detroit minus 22. The Bruins, of course, just passed the Red Wings in points the other day, but they do have 5 games in hand on Detroit, 4 games in hand on Philadelphia, and they should not be too much of a problem when it comes to solidifying a playoff spot. The next team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're in 9th at the moment with a .517 point percentage, 15-4-1, 31 points through 30 games. A respectable -6 goal differential. Again, this team perhaps a bit better than anticipated. Struggling as of late. I have Elvis Merzlikins in my fantasy pool. He's been really killing me lately. They were up 4-0 the other day on the Hurricanes and lost something like 7-4. So I'm not sure if the Blue Jackets are a team to take seriously in the playoff race, but they're still kicking around. That brings us to the top 8 teams, and we'll do a quick rundown of where they each stand right now. In 8th place, I'm putting our Boston Bruins. They have a .607 point percentage, 16-10-2 record, 34 points through 28 games, and they have a +7 goal differential, which is lowest among all playoff teams in the Eastern Conference at the moment. But again, let's look at their underlying numbers. They are pretty strong. They're third in the East when it comes to shot attempt differential at 5-on-5. When it comes to shot differential, they're first overall in the NHL. Expected goal differential, they're first in the NHL as well. And when it comes to high danger chance differential, they are second in the NHL, behind only the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, what's keeping them down is that 5-on-5 shooting percentage, which we saw rise in those games against Detroit and Buffalo. And if they can find continued success at 5-on-5, these new lines really do seem to be working for them, then they should be okay. They should be at least, a playoff team for sure, and perhaps a sneaky first-round upset candidate, depending on who their opponent ends up being. Now, in 7th place is the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have a record of 18-8-5, 41 points, .661 point percentage, a +18 goal differential, which is pretty good. And they will soon have Evgeny Malkin coming back to the lineup. They have been often injured. They always seem to have, there's that popular Mark Donk tweet that makes the rounds every time someone gets injured, but they keep winning, and Pittsburgh will be a tough out as well. In 6th, point percentage-wise, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're 34 games in, 21-8-5 record for 47 points. Only a +8 goal differential was a bit surprising for a team like them. But again, they're tops when it comes to high danger chances for, and they've been missing Nikita Kucherov for some time. He should be back before the playoffs. Miracle of miracles. And they're going to be, a tough out in the playoffs for sure, looking for their 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup championship. The New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals are tied with 48 points. That is most in the NHL at the moment, but they do not have the best point percentages in the East. In fact, they're tied for 4th in point percentage at .706. Capitals get a bit of an edge because they have a +30 goal differential compared to the Rangers +16. The Rangers have won 3 in a row. Looked very good last night against the Edmonton Oilers, and seemed to be a lock to make the playoffs. Fun team to watch, to be honest. And they're one that, they made pretty sweeping changes last season, getting rid of Jeff Gorton, bringing in Gerard Gallant, bringing in Chris Drury. Some questionable moves, bringing Ryan Reeves, but things are working for them, and they have a good young team there in New York. And the Capitals, a bit of an older team. They have Nick Backstrom back from injury, although he was out the other day with an illness, non-COVID related. But they seem to be, in prime form as well, trying to make the most of, Ovechkin's MVP-worthy season so far. That brings us to the top 3 teams. In terms of point percentage in the power rankings, Toronto 7-10, plus 28 goal differential, 21-8-2. They've won 3 games in a row. Their game last night was postponed due to COVID, but they look as good as any team in the league right now. Jack Campbell playing at a high level, Austin Matthews, William Nylander playing at a high level, as is Morgan Riley. They're going to be a tough team to beat. Second place, the Florida Panthers. They have 46 points, 21-7-4 record, a plus 27 goal differential. They've won 3 in a row as well. But the number 1 team, arguably in the NHL, not just the Eastern Conference, is the Carolina Hurricanes. They have a 758 point percentage. They have a plus 40 goal differential, both of which are far and away tops in the NHL. They've won 4 games in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And, right now, if the playoffs were to begin today, which they don't, but if they did, the Bruins would be matched up against the Carolina Hurricanes in round 1. They did beat them a couple of years ago in the bubble, but it's a different Hurricanes team. They do have Frederik Andersen in net. We all know the Bruins are capable of defeating him in the playoffs. But still a lot could change. The Bruins could grab the number 1 wildcard spot. They could even jump into the top 3. It would take a miracle of sorts to do that. But for the time being, Boston Bruins in 8th in the East. But their underlying numbers as good as any team in the Eastern Conference. Just need that secondary scoring, 5-on-5 scoring to continue. And I think they could surprise some teams here down the stretch. All right, that's it for the Eastern Conference Power Rankings. Every week here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the hosts vote on the league-wide power rankings. Those are usually released on Wednesday. So on Thursday, I'll go through those, see where the Bruins fit, look at the top 5 teams, and we can go from there. Let's finish with some news and notes from around the NHL. One postponement last night. That was the Senators and the Kraken. The Senators with another COVID outbreak among their ranks. The only game was the Rangers-Oilers. The Rangers, with those 48 points, moved into a tie for first place in points. However, they do not have the best point percentage, as we just talked about. Austin Matthews and Leafs assistant coach Dean Chenoweth both had positive rapid tests yesterday. They're both asymptomatic, awaiting the results of their official tests. Austin Matthews already had COVID-19. You remember back in the day, Steve Simmons revealed that. There was a big kerfuffle about HIPAA and all that. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly said he doesn't expect many more Canadian teams will have games postponed due to attendance issues because the league is running out of time to make up games already postponed. Up here in Ontario, we went back to some pretty heavy lockdown measures yesterday. No indoor dining, 1,000 max, I believe, in arenas. Nobody's really having anybody at the moment. School's back online. You can hear the kids in the background. So it could come to the point where teams are going to have to play in empty arenas just to make up those games. The Bruins later this week, they play the Minnesota Wild. Their goalie, Cam Talbot, nursing a lower body injury suffered during the Winter Classic. Winger Jordan Greenway entered COVID-19 protocol. So Matt Boldy, local boy, and Marco Rossi may be recalled for that game. And that could give them a bit of a boost and will make that game even more fun to watch. When it comes to tonight's game, Bruins are scheduled to have their morning practice here on Tuesday morning around 11 a.m. I don't expect any unforeseen lineup changes, and we'll likely have the same lineup that skated against the Red Wings on Sunday, unless Curtis Lazar is healthy. But all things considered, I'd like to see Oscar Steen remain in the lineup for the time being anyways. And I would expect Linus Ullmark to get Jeremy Swayman to get the start after a strong performance, stronger than Ullmark over the weekend. Anyways, I think that's it for today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. Tomorrow's podcast will go over tonight's results as well as answer some mailbag questions. So please do send those in over Twitter at Locked NHL Bruins or at Ian C. McLaren. You can also pop them in the YouTube comments as well, and I'll be sure to answer those. And I hope you're all doing well. Again, COVID still very much a thing almost 2 years later. Very disheartening, but hope this podcast can provide a nice, healthy distraction for you along those lines, and we can get through this together. Have a great Tuesday, friends. We'll talk to you again tomorrow here on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day.